All right, so good night, everyone, or good morning, good evening, whatever you are. I hope you're welcome to the Java Tour online. So I know I can see lots of people here already. Here I see Scott, Mariano, Kim, Manik, Alexandre. I mean, there's all kinds of things. Naveen, Alberto, Danjay, Raghav, Fernando, Lucas, Vipin. I mean, lots of people. Luis. Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear us fine. If you can hear us, say hello in the chat. Say, yes, we can hear, right? Just give us some noise so we know that you can hear us fine. It's going to be a very cool week this week. We're going to have lots of, yes, we can hear. Good. Excellent. Thank you. Hi, Thiago. Hi, Pashitz, Mandarin, Darley. I know I'm telling your names all wrong. That's okay. Lucas, Amit, Marianne. Yes, cool, excellent. Everyone is ready. So this week is going to be a very full week. We're going to have presentations every day. So make sure we're going to send lots of emails. Sorry about that. We're going to send you lots of emails this week announcing when it's going to start. So Aitak, Raghav, Fernando, Kim, thanks very much. Thanks everyone for being here. I'll tell you, yes, I can see we have already almost 100 people live. So thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks everyone for participating in this. So let me quickly tell you this. So that's a good question, Vipin. So the webinar is going to be about an hour and a half long, right? What we're going to do is we're going to have Elder has a presentation that he's going to start a presentation for about 15 minutes. And then after Elder starts, after Elder finish, we're going to have Yolande for about an hour, right? So it's going to be about 1 hour and a half presentation. If someone can tell me, there's someone saying that no video, so tell the person that he can reload the page, right? If it's not working, reload the page. Yes, good. Okay, yes. Someone thanks, Yolande. All right. So let me tell you this. So me, Yolande, Otavio, and Ian, we travel through 10 cities in the United States for the Java tour around the United States. So during that tour, we did those presentations live in many JavaEE groups around the US. So we decided when we came back, we should do the same thing for online. So you can join us, you can participate us from wherever you are, from all over the world. So thanks for, well, if it can be from all over the world, tell me, where are you from? So I'm in Brazil. Where are you? Where are you right now, Yolande?
So I'm in the US, in San Jose, California.
How about you, Elder? Where are you?
I'm in Brazil as well.
Brazil. So I see Turkey, Brazil, Argentina, Brazil, Nicaragua. Very cool. Brazil, US. Lives in Argentina. Brazil, guys. India, Ecuador. Thanks very much. India, Guatemala, Brazil. Cool. Maryland, Chicago, Columbus, Ohio. Cool. Georgia. Yeah, we've been to Atlanta and Georgia. Guatemala, Canada, Brazil. Lots of people from Brazil, Republic Dominican. Whoa, man, you guys are from everywhere, right? Connecticut, New York, Seattle. Thank you. Thanks very much for joining. So hopefully this is it's a valid event for you guys. So today we're gonna have 2 presentations. So Mexico, wow, cool. Phoenix, Seattle, woohoo! People from all over the world. Yes, Raleigh. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much. You guys all rock, right? Thanks a lot. So let me quickly introduce the 2 speakers here today. So the first speaker is going to be Elder. Elder is going to talk about the 5 mistakes JavaEE developers make. So hi, Elder. Hello. Good night.
Hello, Bruno. Will you play the video?
Yes. Just don't worry. Just say hello.
Okay. Okay. So hi, everyone. Welcome. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for being. We have right now 100 people online, so we are packed here. So yes. Thank you very much for being, and enjoy it.
Cool. And after Elder, we're gonna have Yolande Poirier. Yolande is at Java on Twitter. So hi, Yolande. How are you?
Yes, hi. I'm very excited to be here. So thank you guys for coming and joining the party. That's awesome. So I'm a community manager at Oracle, and I manage the @Java account, which is growing by 15,000 new members a month. And so I will share like tons of tricks and things, also like how you can boost your presence online, but also I do also a lot of things with the community. So I was on the tour with Bruno, so I'll share also like how you can participate more in the Java community. So it's going to be awesome. And thank you so much for joining. That's impressive.
Right. Okay, guys. So let me tell you one thing. In terms of transparency, right? All the discussions here is going to be live, right? So Elder is here, Yolande is here, but our mini talks, those were recorded because we wanted to make sure that these speakers didn't go over, right? So Elder is here to answer your questions, but he recorded a mini talk, and that's what we're going to do now. Okay. All right. So right now. Let's start with JavaEE. The 5 mistakes that JavaEE developers make that prevents you guys from getting good projects.
Hey there, how are you? I would like to say thank you to the people from United States for the Java USA tour, okay, that are here today. And I would like to start my talk here today asking you a little question. Are you happy with the projects that you are working today? Oh, maybe yes. Maybe you're okay. Maybe you say, well, I don't have any regrets against my projects. Okay, so I would like to say, think again. Think again. Maybe you don't like the technology. Maybe you don't like your boss on that project. Maybe you don't like the money. Maybe you don't like the environment. I don't know. Or maybe on the first time you already replied to that question, no, I don't like that project at all. Okay. Maybe you are already trying to find a new project, right? And you are struggling with that. I would like to say that maybe you are making some mistakes, and I can really talk about it because I made those mistakes through many years in my life and my career. Okay, so I will talk to you about some mistakes that I know from myself, from my own experience today, and I really was successful on get over those mistakes. So I will talk a little about them today. Okay, so my name is Elder. I am the creator of a project called JavaEE to the Next Frontier, where I spoke to top JavaEE experts from all over the world, okay, and getting some precious information about JavaEE 8, some tips, career tips, and some of those mistakes. The way I will talk to you today is mainly related to the of what I talk to them. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so the title of this talk is 5 mistakes that keep JavaEE developers away from great projects. And the first mistake is you don't get up to date. You don't keep up to date with technology. Well, you work with technology. Technology changes every day, so you need to keep up to date. So if you are a JavaEE developer, I will give you a terrible example, but very real example. Many developers, many recruiters, many companies around the world still use the word J2E to refer to JavaEE. I got a news for you. You are already 13, 14 years late. Okay, Java, the word JavaEE started to be used on 2003 or 2004, if I can remember. Okay, so the J2E is not even used since JavaEE 4, because on JavaEE 5 we already start using JavaEE, not use J2E anymore. And why this is important? Because you need to know exactly what the things are called. Okay, you don't have to, you can't call the things on the wrong name. Okay, you don't call a Porsche as a Ferrari. Okay, you don't call a dog as a cat. Okay, you have to use the proper name. So, and why this is a mistake? Because if you don't keep up to date with the things that you use on daily basis, with the technology that you use, how would you be a good developer, a better developer, the best developer? And if you are not a good developer, how will you work on great projects? Okay, so you have to keep up to date. Okay, you have to know what is going on your technology, the technology that you work for your life. Okay, it's you live from that. Okay, so how do you keep up to date? Okay, my suggestion for you, specifically for JavaEE world. Okay, so you find the top experts, Java experts in the world. Okay, if you go to my blog, I have a blog post called top 20 Java experts to follow on Twitter. Okay, you get that list and follow those guys. Okay, those guys has great content, really up-to-date content, and they share those contents almost every day. So you get fresh news from them, and you start to going deep on those news, okay, on those content that they share. And once you find those contents, those up-to-date content, you maybe find some topics where you are failing, where you are you don't know. Okay, you really don't know. So you have to work on those content. So you will find some space on your agenda, on your week, and you will work on those content. Okay, so you will learn, you will improve, and you will keep up to date. Okay, so you really need to work on that. Okay, so don't stay behind, keep up to date. Okay, the second mistake for JavaEE developers: you don't know the APIs. Okay, so maybe you meet someone and you present yourself as a Java developer, and that person says, "Oh, cool! What's your favorite API? What's your top API?" And you freeze. Okay, so don't freeze. Okay, know the APIs. And JavaEE has a whole umbrella of APIs. Okay, it's a huge amount of APIs, and it's very huge work to know all of them. Okay, so first to going deeper on the APIs. Why it's a mistake to don't know the APIs? Because you use them, and if you don't know them, how will you use them? Okay, if you have a CDI challenge and you don't know CDI, how will you use CDI? Okay, if you only know the first base, the basic knowledge of any API, you use very few features. Okay, and I'm sure that those APIs has a lot of features that you can use. Okay, so you have to really go deeper on those APIs that you use. Okay, so my suggestion in terms of point of view, okay, you have to have an overview of the whole API, the whole ecosystem, the whole umbrella of JavaEE. Okay, so know that all APIs, what they do, and how they work and how you should use them, okay, on an overview. And you have to have a better, okay, a better knowledge of the most important ones, okay, so CGI, JSF, JPA, AGB, and so on, okay, Servlet 4 now for JavaEE 8. And you have to master, really master those ones that you use on daily basis, okay. So those APIs that you really need to use, you have to master them, okay. So you read the spec, you try examples, you write code, you really master all the concepts. So once you got a challenge and once you got a project, okay, so once you get an issue that you need to solve using one of those APIs, you don't have any doubts, okay. You go there and you solve and you did it, and you will see as a great developer, as a specialist, an expert on that API and on JavaEE, okay. So don't make this mistake, okay. Really know the APIs and really master those that you really need. The third mistake is you don't know application servers, okay. So you are a JavaEE developer. JavaEE is implemented through many application servers, okay. So I have some examples here: Wildfly, WebLogic, TomEE, Glassfish, WebSphere, Pyara, there are others, okay. And why it's a mistake? Why I don't know the application server is a mistake? Because you need them as a JavaEE developer. I have a test for you, okay. Go to any recruiter sites, websites, search for any position, any JavaEE position, okay. Read the description, and I'm sure that description will mention some of these application servers or other application servers, okay. If the description doesn't mention any Java servers, maybe it's not a JavaEE position, okay, or maybe J2E position that doesn't use an application server, okay. So don't trust a lot on that position. So you really need to know the application servers, the most important one, for you can use them, okay. So you need to know how to deploy, how to stop, how to start, how to read the logs, how to create a data source, okay. At least the basics, okay, of the most important JavaEE servers, application servers. You really need to know them, okay. So if you know them, you will be prepared for most of positions on JavaEE, okay, that are offered on the market, and you'll be a better developer because you can easily, okay. The point here is, as JavaEE is a standard, okay, all those application servers follow that standard. So once you know the standard, okay, so you can come back to the last point. Once you know the APIs, you know the standard, and once you know the standard, you know how the application servers work. So once you know the specific features of each one of the application servers, you are well prepared and you are ready for any kind of great project, okay. The fourth mistake: you don't know containers, okay. And why is a mistake doesn't know containers? Because containers today is making what many people call container revolution, okay. We are living the containers revolution. All the market is being changed by containers, okay. You are changing the way you develop, you are changing, not you are, containers are changing the way you develop, the way you test, the way you build, the way you deliver software, okay. So all the life cycle of projects, of software projects, has been changed by containers, okay. So why it's a mistake? Because you are losing that wave, okay. You are you can go on the many opportunities today. There are tons of opportunities today on the market for people that know containers, and I can really talk about it for myself. Okay, I started investing on containers like 2 years ago, and just 1 year after I started investing on learning containers, I got a great job. Okay, a very better job than the ones that I had before. Okay, just to know the basics, not really the basics, but just to know Docker and how to do many things on Docker. And today I'm working on a great project that use containers in all the life cycle. Okay, we have dozens of containers running today on our project, and that's because 1 year before I started investing on containers. Okay, so if you don't know containers today, that's a huge mistake because you are losing opportunities. Okay, so learn Docker, try to run your develop environment, your test environment, your delivery environment. Okay, learn some concepts from continuous development, continuous deployment, continuous integration. Okay, and get into this world, and because in a couple of years you will see that the whole market was changed by containers, and if you don't invest today, you will lose opportunities. Okay, you will stay behind, and you don't want to stay behind because you want to work on great projects. Okay, you don't want to make this mistake. Okay, so don't do it. And the fifth mistake is you don't share what you know. Okay, and why don't sharing what you know is a mistake? Because if you don't share what you know, nobody knows what you know. If you don't share what you know, nobody knows what you know. Okay, and if nobody knows what you know, how will you get the better opportunities, the best opportunities, the great opportunities, the great projects? Okay, it's a huge mistake, and I can talk about it for myself as the others. All the 5 mistakes I can talk for myself, and this one really changed my life, my career. Okay, I really stuck it on my career for, and I'm ashamed. Not ashamed anymore. Okay, but I can really talk about it because I stay stuck in my career for 13 years. I stay almost frozen in my career. Okay, I stay away from the great events, the great conference, the big conference. And once I went to JavaEE Brazil on 2015, I was really 13 years away from the great events, and I stay there for those 3 days, and I look for, man, what those guys is talking about. I have no idea. No, I had an idea, but I was really deprecated as a developer. I was really not working on the first mistake that is keep up to date, and my career was stuck about it. And if I really would like to try to share something, was other what I had on my mind was really old, really deprecated, really not up to date anymore at all. So it started from those mistakes and finish on this one, because if you don't share what you know, nobody knows what you know, and if nobody knows what you know, nobody will give you the better opportunities, the great opportunities on the market. Okay, so, and you will get stuck it as I was. Okay, so how you overcome this mistake? Okay, start sharing. Okay, start sharing. The great mistake on don't share what you know is that many people think that what they know is not good enough to share, and this is a huge mistake, because I'm sure that what you know, some people doesn't know. Okay, some people doesn't know, and if you share, you help them. Okay, and once you share and help them, they will help you, because once you share, you grow, you learn more. Okay, you improve as a professional, and this is a cycle. Okay, it's a win-win game because you gain and they gain. Okay, so start sharing, and how you can share, how you can start sharing. Okay, my first advice, my first tip for you, my first tool that I would suggest for you is blogging. And why? Because blogging is very simple. You create a account on WordPress, blog posts, whatever, and you start sharing. Okay, you do posts, you do blog posts, you learn some new stuff, and you post about it. You have some question, why not? You post about those questions. You write a code, you wrote a code that you like it, and that code solves some problem that you have. You share that code. Okay, so you start working on it, and once this blogging will grow, and you grow together, and you will start to bring in more features to that. So you put Twitter, and you start to learn about the tantalizing titles, and you start to work on your focus, and you start to growing. And but the most important thing here is that since the day one you are sharing. Okay, so don't lose any time anymore. Start sharing, because once you share, okay, people will know you, people will know what you know, and you, I'm sure, I can guarantee you, because it's happening with me right now. Okay, people will start to listen to what you are speaking, what you are talking, and this is a game, a win-win game. Okay, I can really talk about it. Okay, so people, thank you very much, and I would like to end here today talking about my, as I said, my project JavaEE, the next frontier. And here is the link to where you can subscribe, and I will send you all the interviews that I already have done with the really top JavaEE experts on the road. Okay, and we have some more interviews are about to come, and I will send you the alerts. And we also shared there many JavaEE good, not good, but really good content. Okay, so subscribe there, and I will share that content with you. And you can also find me on Twitter at Elder Java. Okay, so thank you very much. Bye bye. See you.
All right. So thanks, Elder. That was a great presentation. So and I think Elder disconnected. So thanks a lot. So Elder, you can click on Elder's project. Yeah, I think he finished and disconnected. Right. So all right, he's back again. So hi, Elder. So Elder has some very interesting interviews that he's doing on the project, on the JavaEE Next Frontier project. So if you want to join that project, you're going to get all kinds of very, very cool content for you. So just click on the link on the side, and you can register for Elder. So Elder dropped his connection. So once he gets back, he can answer questions. All right. I don't know what's going on with him. So Yolande, that's him. All right. So Elder's back. So hi, Elder. Can you hear us? No?
He's coming. He's not
coming.
there. Ah, there.
There you go. Okay. So hi, Elder. So let's see if we see any questions here for you. Do you guys have any questions for Elder? He's freezing again, I guess. All right.
Hold on. No?
Yeah, so Yolande, let me ask you this. The last thing the Elder said was that, he gave his Twitter account, and there you are.
Okay.
Okay, so Joseph says, very interesting to point 5. You know, if nobody knows you, you're not helpful for others. What do you say about this, Elder?
I'm sorry, I lost the question is, if you know but nobody knows you, it's not helpful for others. I didn't get the question. Where you are working today? Today I'm working with Bruno at Suma Technologies. We are doing a great project there for about application lifecycle management, where we use a lot of Docker, Jenkins, Git, and plenty of tools there. It's a very cool project.
Cool. Very cool. So
Brad's asking
if the slides are available. So Brad, we're gonna put the whole video. So everyone, we're gonna record the whole recording here. Is going to be available on the same site where we register, right? And we're going to send you an email with the link so you can download this. And the slides are also going to be available on Elder's project.
There's a Lucas question. What does he think about Jenkins to study? Definitely, because Jenkins is a powerful tool you can use to automate many things. Today we are automating about 70 systems from different technologies, all them using Jenkins for building, for deploy, for automation, for starting and stopping service. So you should learn Jenkins today.
Cool. All right. Okay, guys.
Another question, guys.
Oh. Microservices. What do you think about microservices, Eder?
What do you think about it? Wow. If you are from the old times from Monolith, it's a huge change. Start from your mindset, but we can see many big projects. The biggest example that I can say is they have thousands of microservices. So I think we really should learn microservices, should learn the concepts involved, should learn how to break down your entire project to decoupling the dependencies between services. So I think you should really learn microservices.
Right. So there's some other question that Elder's going to answer on the chat because we are out of time here. And so thanks a lot, Elder. It was great to having you here with us. And I'm going to pass now for Yolande. So Yolande, thanks a lot. So Yolande is a community manager for Java, and she is the person that handles at Java on Twitter. So Yolande, Elder's finished his presentation by saying about follow him on Twitter. And do you think it's important for people to follow to be on Twitter?
Yes. Like, it's super important to be on Twitter. If there is like one social media that you should be on, it's Twitter, because you can find a lot of information. So you can easily connect with people you don't know who are experts in different technologies. They're easy to find. They're also easy to connect with. Mm-hmm. And yes, so and personally, I do my entire content strategy. Every day, I first start with Twitter. So that's where I go to do all my work. I don't even know what I did before there wasn't Twitter, so, or the internet for that matter. But, it's a bigger question.
Okay, so that's fine. So Yolande is with you now. So you're going to talk about how to be a champion of Java. So tell us how we can be a champion of Java then.
Yes, so I'm going to share my slides. So I'm going to really talk about like conferences as well. I mean, I'm looking at some of the chat and seeing like people have really good points about like not being good enough, or how do we start, right? I mean, it's great to see like people who succeed, but then it's like, well, what are the first steps also to get there? So that's really what I want to talk about today. So make all of you like comfortable so you can start participating more in the Java community, because we need that as well. So I'm going to start sharing my slides.
So before you share your slides, let me tell you this. Yolande has several questions that she's going to ask you during the talk, right? So whenever she asks questions, we're going to put the questions to the side so you guys can vote. So go ahead, Yolande.
So the first question is about conferences. So I want to know, how many conferences do you go to? And basically, I want to know if you go to none, because then that's not good. And or if you have to pick one, because I mean, sometimes, you know, that's all your management will allow you to do. And if you're doing more than one. So that's my question, the first poll. And while you do this, you
yes, if you click on pause on your side, you're going to see live the results.
Cool. Excellent. Okay, so while I'm looking at this, I'm going to start sharing my slides. And hopefully I can do both. Okay, excellent. I see. Okay. But now I lost the chat, of course. That's not so good. Okay. So I'll do this a little different here.
Don't worry, Yolande. We tell you about the chats. Yes.
Okay. You want to tell me how many people?
The presentation. If there's any questions, I ask you.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So I introduced myself already, so you know who I am. You know how to find me. So this is my the Java handle, but I also put my personal handle on Twitter because the Java handle has so many notification per day that, you know, sometimes I just don't see content or people who want to reach me. So the Java community is really big. I mean, it's 314 user groups. It's millions of Java developers who go and visit our web properties. It's almost 200 now Java champions. It's also a lot of people contributing to the open source projects. So contributing then to the GCP. So it's a lot for us to manage, but it's also such an interesting community, and you're so lucky to be part of it because the community is has like a lot of initiatives also that you can participate and that will give you a lot of visibility and you can share a lot. So to Helder's point is like, how can you start sharing? Well, there are plenty of ways that you can share, and at any type of level. So that's what I really want to talk about here. So the whole point is, once you part of this big community, is how can you be social and share and have fun? And this is a picture of a tour that was done for the 20-year anniversary. It was in Brazil. I know many of you are also in Brazil. And so the user groups, so if you're not in a user group, you should be part of a user group. User groups are really, like, I would say, the backbone of the Java community. I mean, this is the easiest also way for you to communicate and share with other developers in your area. You can go to more events also, just going to user group events, right? So it's really the backbone, and you should be participating. So don't also just go to a user group and say, well, you know, I'm there to get information. Figure out also a way of how you can participate in that user group. Is there like a short presentation you can do? Is there something that you can contribute back to that community? So talk to the organizers and contribute. So that's a picture from our tour. So the four of us are in front here, and this is the four speakers that you will also see here and see this week. But this was so it's fun. It's great when you have people coming to your city. But again, I mean, it's you should definitely enjoy that, but also like figure out how you can participate yourself in the user group. So other ways of participating in the Java community is the Adopt a JSR. So this is a picture of Heather and Andres Almire. So Andres has been driving this initiative, the Hacker Garden, and I have the website here, hackergarden.net. At every event, and this picture is from Java 1, but at every event, he will have a space, which is pretty much like only tables, and people, so leaders and top contributors from open source project will come, spend time together, and welcome anybody who wants to learn how to contribute to open source projects, or how to, or you can even go to those people and just say, well, I have a problem with my deployment. And they will talk to you and help you also figure out like any issue. So it's a great, so if you come to Java 1, you have to go to the Hacker Garden and just hang out with those guys. So at Java 1, mostly all the spec leads on JavaEE, for example, will be there and spend time just talking to people, coding, or and even if you have never seen or never contributed to any open source project, you can definitely go to them and say that, and they will help you navigate the open source projects and how you can contribute, what you should do, what you should not do, and so forth. So it's a great opportunity to learn. So another project, so there is there is also OpenJDK, and OpenJDK is really for the JavaSE platform. So here are one linked, adopt openjdk.net, and this is driven by Martin Verberg, who is here and that I'm interviewing. And they organize hack days online, actually. The next one will be August 19. So they show you how to download the early access bill, how to test it. They will test it with you. So it's a full day of really deep dive into the newest JDK. And so this year is all about like JDK 9. So you can have a first look at what that technology look like and how you can use it and how you can test your applications. And the website also gives you information on how to run your own events. So let's say you're part of a user group and you say, well, you really want to organize one of those hack days. Then you can reach out to Martin and other people organizing those events and ask them, so what kind of information they already have that you can use to organize such event. At Java 1 this year, we are adding a developer community day. So it will be the Sunday before Java 1. And before, in past years, this was the day when there was a community sessions about NetBeans and also user groups. And we broadened that, the number of sessions and rooms available for different topics. So we're adding 2 tracks. And I think there will be like a total of 8 rooms available. This is still early because we're just reviewing the sessions right now. But this is also a great opportunity to just submit a proposal. Is still open. You could still submit actually probably until the end of the week. And it's very casual. So you see the panel in this picture. This was like from a previous year. You know, a lot of people. It's more of a conversation, very casual, very open as well. So if you had an idea for a panel, if you wanted to organize a talk, this is actually also very easy to do and easier certainly to get into than a regular session. So I was thinking about ways how you can start as a speaker. So starting as a speaker is certainly can be perceived. There was somebody in the chat who was saying, well, I'm not good enough. So, you know, I'm not sure. So a good way to start also speaking is actually to start as a co-speaker. So you listen to a speaker and you say, well, there are a couple of things I could add to your talk, for example, right? An example, because I'm working on this, on the same technology, and I have an example for you. So this is also conversations that you could have with a speaker. And I totally recommend, even for blogging, for example. I mean, you could write a blog and then ask a blogger who is better known in that expertise, and actually ask them if that would be useful for them to share also to their audience. People will do it, because at the end of the day, it's all about sharing, right? I mean, the more we share, even if we share all day, we want to share, we want to give like more value to our audience. And I'm certainly in that position as well every day with the Java channels, where I want to share more content, right? So at Java 1, but there are also other conferences doing this, is that you have sessions that are called Bird of Feathers. And there are sessions that are more, they're smaller sessions. Usually it's more of a discussion format. And so you come up with a problem. You don't even need to come up with real solutions, but coming up with a problem that you have at work that you're not sure how to solve. And so you can just ask the audience to help you solve it, because other people also certainly have similar problems than you have. Oh, and how is my my poll doing, Bruno? What's the result?
Yolande, your poll is 43% of people do not go to any conference, no conferences. 33% go once a year, and 25% goes several a year. So the vast majority, I mean, almost half of people don't go to any conference.
Right. So the reason I was asking about conferences, because often I hear people say, well, you know, I can see the content online afterwards. And I will tell you, at Java 1, we record some sessions, but not all of them. And then there are plenty. And so, for example, this is a good example. The Birds of a Feather are not sessions that are recorded. So all that sharing that can happen when you are on site, you are not experiencing that if you think that you can just get the content online and through forums. Because when you're on site, so often I see people during Java 1 talking about technology really from 9 in the morning until 10 at night, right? When I see them at parties and they're still like thinking, well, why should I, you know, implement microservices? I don't need this. This is just a buzzword. And, you know, and after 3 or 4 days, you see the conversation has evolved, and they have a lot more input, and they can, I mean, decide whether or not they want to implement certain technology, but certainly they leave the conference way more informed. So I want to encourage you to go to a conference. It doesn't have to be Java 1 or an international conference if you can't afford it, but definitely like go to user groups, but also go to conferences that are at least the local ones. You should not miss those. And then, so my first argument was about content, but it's also all about the people and the network that you have, right? And Alden talked about that also a little bit, is that, well, first of all, you need to be in the habit of just sharing with others, but also while you share, people get to know you. So if you look for a job, or even if you have a problem at work and you want like somebody to help you, right? Or have a second opinion, then you can actually go to people, right? And so this is your network. This is also, I would say, almost like the fun of being part of a big community, is that you can really share with your peers. And Java 1, certainly, I see that, I mean, every year. But I'm sure also even in your local, at your local conferences, that's also something that you could do, and you would get a lot out of it. So think again. So at Java 1, every year we have sorry. So we have also like a lounge or like demos in the exhibit hall that we are that Oracle manages. And so for Java, we are lucky because every year we bring Java developers from the community to show demos. So for example, here is Michael Hofer. He's from Germany. He doesn't work for Oracle, but he is expert in 3D printing, and build also like a software to do modeling for 3D printing. And so he comes and volunteers for us. And in exchange, we, of course, we usually pay for his expenses if he cannot pay for himself. Another person we also had is, and some of you probably know him, he's from Brazil, and this is Vinicius Sanger. And he has this very cool demo with his guitar, the IoT demo. So if you look in the background, there are also like different demos. Like for example, you see a sewing machine. So somebody else had a project doing sewing. We don't recruit developers or volunteers that young, but that's kind of a fun picture. This was another person, also artist, and who did shapes and based on sound that you would hear. So this is like a CNC cutter is cutting all those little shapes that you can draw in an application on your phone. So it's fun, and it's at the same time we're showing the technology, and you can volunteer also for those stations. Another thing that we do a lot at Java, but also like at other conferences, is to do interviews. So for example, tomorrow for people in Brazil, there is the Oracle Code event, and we will interview. So there we also interview speakers, for example. But in this case, is just people from the community who decided to talk about their own community. So this is again Andres Almire, Caesar from South America, and they are speaking in Spanish and talking about their community, and we record it and put it online afterwards. So again, you can actually be the interviewee or the interviewer. So you can also do some interview for us. So if you say, well, I'm not working on an exciting project, but I can interview people, we actually will give you the stage and let you figure it out who you want to interview and ask questions. So every year also I have volunteers, like, so for this big space that we manage, I get volunteers. This is like from a local school, but I also have at Java 1 people who who need a pass, and once they have a pass, they can go to their employer and say, and have the employer, their employer pay for their travel expenses. So this is also another possibility, you know, if you feel like there are probably many reasons why you're not going to conferences, and one of them might be financial. So if you pay for the pass plus all the expenses, that can be expensive. But figure out also there are other ways that you can maybe, you know, get at least a free pass. So another way to start becoming a speaker is organizing a kids workshop. And on the picture here is Arun Gupta. He's organizing the DevOps for Kids in the US. And so the DevOps for Kids are around the world. This is a global organization. And this is a great way to to do a presentation. I mean, it's low key, right? I mean, your audience are children who they are enthusiastic about the technology, but and they don't know a lot. So different types of presentation, but also a little bit sometimes easier. So this year, Java 1, if it's not on your calendar or if you're not even thinking about it, it will be from October 1st to 5th of this year. So, and just some faces from Japan from last year. Okay, so going to events. So now I have Bruno, I have another set of questions about Facebook. Who is using Facebook? So
do you prefer Facebook? There, I have Jug Meeting in the past. Do you want Facebook? That's Facebook you want?
So the best question would be actually which social media do you use the most?
Okay.
That would be better. And I think I had a Twitter question as well. Can we have two?
No, just one.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, we're doing the social media channel right now.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so making more38 So I have a lot of friends. We call them followers on Twitter, but so I have 38,000 followers right now, and I'm growing at really fast. So with this channel, what is really interesting is to see what works, what topics works, and if I make a mistake or if I'm talking about something that nobody is interested in, well, I'll get no retweet whatsoever. And that goes, so usually I can get easily like 100 retweets. So if I get 1 or 2, for me, this is really bad. So I have to get more than that. Otherwise it's, I know something is wrong. I'm not doing my job right? So another thing about another reason I'm showing you this is you really need to have, if you're on Twitter, do me a favor, have a picture. So here I have the logo of Java because it's a technology channel, but have a picture here of you, nothing else. I don't want to see cartoons, characters or anything. And then here as well, like this is like a big picture that you can take advantage of, and you should display something that relates to you. I mean, it can be like a picture of your team at work. It could be at an event that you have like you're part of a group picture, or you do a selfie with speakers, for example. It really shows like who you are, what you do also. Like, do you go to conferences? Are you connected? Are you part of a bigger network, right? And the other thing that I look very carefully when I retweet people is also like the description. I see so many people who do not have a profile description. And this is really, it's hard for me to retweet somebody who has no picture and no bio and has not a lot of tweets. Like, you have to make a little bit of an effort, because when I see that there is nothing there, I'm like, well, who is this person, right? How much searching do I need in order to retweet their content, right? So this is really, really, really important. And off and on, I will actually, when I see somebody has very good content, not a lot of followers, but content that I really want to retweet, I will reach out to them via the Java channel and say, could you please tell me something about yourself, add a picture? And often, so people do. So, but I don't have the time to do that all the time. And most of the content, I don't even see it. So do yourself a favor, really. Make sure that you have a good description. Bruno later this week will talk about the description that you should, and it gives you a very nice format about how to write that description if you're not too sure how to do that. But you should have in that description something so the typical phrase is how you can help others, right? What kind of content will you be talking about? So basically answer the question, why should somebody else follow you? What are you going to talk about? If you talk about things that somebody else doesn't care about, then they won't follow you, right? But so I really recommend that you join Bruno's session later this week on Saturday, I think, about career, because this is really what I'm saying here and what he will show you is really totally related. So part of success on Twitter is also to follow people with big accounts. So follow @Java for sure, because it will help you also with your visibility. And then all those accounts on this page are actually accounts that are that have a lot of followers and a lot of content. So it's important to do that. So here's another set of people on Twitter that have interesting content, because, you know, often I see people who think, well, I have nothing to share on Twitter. So what should I do? You don't have to have to write a blog every day and share that blog to become known. You can also talk about other people's content. I mean, the @Java account, 99% of the content on the channel is content that other people shared, right? And that I think are valuable to the entire Java community. So sharing other people's content, adding a little content, or letting other people know why you think this content is important, that's all the work you need to do on Twitter. Okay, so Bruno, do we have a sense of what is the most?
Yes, Yolande. So we have 46% chose Twitter, and 37% Facebook, and then we have 6% Slack, 2% GitHub, and 10% LinkedIn.
Okay. Okay. So
yes, almost half Twitter, and then Facebook, and then 10% LinkedIn, 6% Slack, and 2% GitHub.
Okay. So the important thing with Twitter, and I said that a little bit at the beginning, but is that it's easy to see people's content. I also have a Facebook account, and I have a Facebook account for Java. But on Facebook, you have those little circles. So it's great to have a Facebook for personal or for groups, right? But with Facebook, it's difficult to expand on your personal groups. So personally, I like Twitter because I can find content. I can find people, and even if people don't tweet a lot, then I can find immediately, and I will show you how I find actually content every day. But I can see every day I can find tons of content that I can share with the Java community and on Twitter. So I would really recommend, for those of you who are using Facebook, make sure that you are using it, that you're not siloed, that you actually grow your community, because I think it's a lot harder to do that on Facebook than it is on Twitter. And on Twitter, even if people don't re-click your content, if you connect it to the right people, and if people start retweeting you, then you will get a lot of momentum. So it can feel maybe lonely on Twitter, but you actually have also a lot of visibility. So quick comments about like who is on this page. So Simon Maple has a virtual jog that he manages, and he has like sessions on a regular basis. So you can get announcements on Twitter if you follow him. You know, you'll be able to see. So not just the live events, but also he records. So similar to what we do today. So he will also be recording that and making it available afterwards. Mario Fusco is an interesting character. He has actually a lot of followers as well. He has an interesting style as well. So on top of being like a great developer. So because there is also, I mean, if you're looking for a different style, you want to have like good examples that you can go to and see what works. So that's why I think Mario is a good example of that. Trisha Gee is the evangelist for JetBrains, and she has a lot of tips about Java 9 and how to code, how to be productive with the tool, with the JetBrains tool. And she is very good at making sure she gives value to people. So every time she does something, she wants to make sure that, and I know her personally, but I can also see her style also online. So she's very efficient as well, and has very good tips, and she's very popular. People really like her content for that particular reason as well. Peter Lorre is very technical, very engaged, and yeah. Heinz Gebutz is also is an independent contractor. So is Sebastian Daschner, and they do a lot of series, a lot of content online to promote their work and also their interest. Bruno, I don't need to introduce. He's actually organizing this event and has a lot of content on Docker, career. I mean, you name it. Mark Heckler, I like to give his name out because he is always online. And if you look at his profile, you will see that he tweets a lot. And he retweets every time he sees somebody has good content, he just retweets it. And so you want to be connected to people like this who are very active online and on Twitter. So if they see your content, they will actually be there to retweet it. Stefan Jensen is running the DevOps conferences, and the JDutches is just an example of user groups. And so this is, if you don't know, the Dutches group is a group for women in technology and in Java. But in general, also you have all your user groups also that you can tap into if you want to be more connected with your local community. So here I'm putting also like examples of work that those people have done. So like I was saying, a lot of online content, puzzles, newsletter. Heinz is doing a newsletter, but also a lot of presentations that people have given at different events, and then they post it online. More examples of great content as well. So I mentioned the virtual jug. Okay, and so I had to give this example. So Raphael did a great job with his profile. He has a very nice also description of what he does. But so it's the thing I wish I was looking, the type of profile I was looking at all day. So he has this picture here, which is a fun picture with the Android there. But he also have this big picture here that so with Bruno, because he's in Brazil, so connected to the local community, is here, and with well-known people in the community. I mean, I've done interviews with some of them, and what he did is I'm doing right now 100 days of Java. And he started doing a lot of quizzes, and I think I met him actually when I was in Brazil a couple of years ago. But he started doing all those quizzes, and when I saw the quizzes, I ended up sharing a lot of his quizzes because immediately I could go to his profile and know exactly who he was. So well connected. You don't have to have a lot of followers, right? And I'm following him right now because he has great content. And so you don't have to be like the top famous person to be followed by Java. You just have to be contributing to the community. And there is another person as well that I did that with who didn't have a good profile, but had like excellent quizzes. And I ended up reaching out to him and just tell him to give me a little bit, I mean, tell me something about himself and put a picture there, which he did. And he had only 200 followers, and I actually followed him as well. So this is really your tip, right? If you make sure that people know who you are and start sharing good content. And if @Java doesn't respond well or doesn't see your content, then contact me personally. I'll certainly look at it. So other things that work well on Twitter. So we've seen a little bit like what you can do first with your profile, who to connect to, but important is also how do you tweet? So how do you find content and how do you tweet? So those are a little bit of what you see on Twitter in general and what works. But I see also this really working on the Java channel. So the more you share, so since there are so few characters, sharing a picture that says something also about what you're talking about is very powerful. So, and when I talk about pictures, I usually don't share landscapes or pretty pictures. If I do, it's because it was connected with content that I'm sharing, but it's not really a picture that I looked for and then uploaded for that tweet. But so often I will share screenshots, even screenshots of code, so to let people know that there is it's a blog with code examples. So instead of saying that, because I don't have enough space with the 140 characters, what I do is I add a picture. So make sure that when you share content, that it's really something useful for your audience. So, because your audience will really appreciate that if you give more information than the minimum. So photos or screenshots or any type of visual are important. Videos as well. So Halder did video interviews, for example. So when you share those videos, it adds a little bit of a template. I mean, a little template from YouTube. One thing about hashtags: be careful about the hashtags that you're using, because you want to make sure that those hashtags are actually powerful and not just reaching nobody, right? And I'll give you a tool also to show you like how to find actually the best hashtags. Okay, tools. Quickly before I do a demo, how am I doing with time? Okay, so Buffer and Hootsuite are scheduling tools for tweets. If you do, I really recommend that you schedule tweets if you find content. So some people, you can just work one day per week on Sunday and then schedule some content for the week. I mean, make sure that when the post goes live, that you are online. So if people have questions, or you can then respond to it. But make sure that you understand when people are online, because doing that in the middle of the night, if nobody is around, is not going to help you. A lot of people in technology know if this then that, which is the first tool. And be careful if you automate things on Twitter. I don't recommend it. I've done it. It really doesn't work unless you find like you can put people in lists. So if they follow you, you can add them to a list, for example. So that kind of rule is actually useful. I've tried other things just because I like to try things, but to retweet everything that was on Java, I retweeted it also automatically with my personal handle. Not a very good idea. It was fun, but I stopped doing it because it was kind of awkward and not personal at all, of course. So, but it was fun to experiment. Feedly is a tool that will show you, will help you find content, articles, and totally useful. Tools is actually like more of an RSS feed. Tubes is a chat tool, so also an easy way to increase your visibility on Twitter is to ask questions on chats, for example. There are not a lot of, it used to be more popular, I think, a couple of years ago. Right now, technical chats are not very, there are not that many. TweetDeck, I'll show you those. So this is what I use like almost, I mean, not almost every day, because I can organize my content, and I will demo that to you. RightTag is a tool to find like the right hashtags. And then Tweetonomy, I'll show you. You'll never forget that tool afterwards. More tools also. So we talked about like having visuals. So I use Canva a lot. So I'll create basically banners, just even if it's just text. Pablo is similar to that. It's also a visual tool. One tool that I will show you, demo you is advanced search, because that's actually pretty interesting for finding information. Okay, so let me go to my other screen. Where are they? Okay, so I talked about, let's see here. I do this. Yeah. No? Sorry about that.
Yeah, you got to share your screen. So Yolande, do you want to ask how many people present at an event or no? That was an interesting information I wanted to have.
So RightTag is a tool actually to check on hashtags. And so here you have the different parameters. So the Star Wars is it's overused, don't bother. Or yeah. So this one is also currently green is currently powerful, and then the last one is has a long lifetime. So here you see immediately. So I get like I know where which actually hashtag will be powerful. So for example, if I say JavaEE, let's see what I get. Come on. So this is a free tool. Huh? You see, so you almost have like no traction if you say JavaEE. So right now, a little bit more popular should be JavaEE 8, a little bit, but not by much. So unfortunately, you have to decide. If you want to have a lot of reach, you should definitely use Java, or even developers, for example. But if you want to have like very targeted content, and you want to be known like in a very by people who are doing very specific content, then you probably want to do JavaEE 8 if you really like a JavaEE specialist, for example. Oh, and look at this. That's the series that, no, not very. Okay, so that gives you an idea. So be strategic about your hashtags, and avoid also doing creating your own hashtag. I see people doing that a lot, and that doesn't really, there is so much content online that it doesn't really help you in terms of visibility. This is TweetDeck. So TweetDeck is what I use practically every day. So with TweetDeck, you can create pretty much any list that you want. So for example, and you can create them in different ways. So the Java champion list, for example, so I entered I created that list. So when you are, let me see how, yeah. So let me show you how you, so I manually entered all the name on that list, and you can do that by adding a column. But let me show you, so once that list is created, so this is my personal Twitter handle, right? And if I go to Java for my private handle, I can actually see list that Java created, right? And then I can click on that and I can subscribe to them. So the Java champion, for example, well, so I already subscribed to it, but I can unsubscribe or subscribe to that list. So all that work that somebody else did, in this case it was me, but you don't have to recreate that list. It's created for you, and you just add it to your list and to your profile. So this is one example of how you can create lists and use them, and TweetDeck is fantastic for that. It's really done for that. JavaEE is similar, but you can also have hashtags. So scheduling, home, you can have a hashtag just to see like who is talking about a particular technology. And then from here, it's very easy to say, retweet. So I have multiple accounts. So if I was going to retweet, I can retweet with my personal handle. I can add all the handles that I have if I want, and just retweet or add a quote, and then add a comment, and then retweet from that as well. So this is also very easy if you have multiple accounts. But publications, this is also something I created. So yeah, so it gives you a lot of content. So this is how I find a lot of the content, and it's a live feed. So so you get content immediately. So you don't have to go on Twitter and look for the content all the time. Okay, and so adopt a JSR, OpenJDK. It's all those people are actually also part of this list. Okay. So useful tool to have. Okay, so the last one is the Tweetonomy. I mentioned Tweetonomy, and let me show you how to access it. So a lot of those tools are actually tools that you can access using your Twitter account. So when you sign in, I sign in with my personal Twitter handle, right? So this is my dashboard. All of this, if I click on all of this, or the followers, or who is following me, manage my list, I can do that for myself here. So this is a lot more information than that you would find actually on Twitter itself. Because on Twitter, let me show you, you have analytics, right? Here, you can go to analytics and you have analytics per month, but you don't get much, right? The number of tweets, like it's pathetic. So, but here, so on top of looking at your own account, see, so you can also search for other people's account. So in this case, I had Bruno. Yeah, why not? Let's try Bruno. So this is Bruno Souza. This is.
Well, why are you going to do me?
Okay.
Okay, yes, you can do me. But just you're going to spy on me right now, live, right? That's what you're doing.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It's good, right?
All right. Okay.
We are Java man. Okay. So here is would be, sometimes you have a list of people that are with, like, if someone has like multiple accounts, you will find actually all their accounts as well. So let's look, let's spy on Bruno. Okay. So here it comes. Takes a little while to load. So there is like all the information you can think of. So his tweets, like what is he talking about? People following him. I mean, you have tweet analytics, like the number of tweets per day, the mentions, links, when he tweets. Oh, I love this one. You see, when is he awake and in front of his computer? You know, if I was his manager, I would track that. So, but you see actually, like, when is he tweeting, like which day, but even at what time. There is another chart somewhere with the time as well. So users, he most retweets. Ah, me first at Java. Look at that. Okay, so people you reply to also, like, who is he having like a conversation with, right? Most mentioned, the hashtag he uses, his favorites. I mean, it's just unbelievable, the information you can, and it's all free, right? It's not like you have to pay for the service or anything. Oh yes, this is it. Which day of the week is he tweeting? And at what time? So, yeah. So it's...
Looks like at 3 a.m. I'm sleeping. Or 5 a.m.
Ah, yeah. Yeah. But you're up at 12 and 1. So it's a great way to... for you also to connect with people and know who a person would be following and what kind of network they have, right? And so if you wanted to look at some of the leaders in the community, that would be also a great way. It's a great tool for that. So maybe it's a little bit too much information on one person. I don't know. But yeah, but it's a great tool. And again, free tool, right? Okay. So where is, let me go back to my presentation. How are we doing in time? Oh, so it's it. That's it, right? It's 6:30. I didn't realize it took so long. So I just had like some pictures and a little bit more about the tour. But if people want have questions instead,
yeah,
maybe I should answer questions.
There are some questions already. If you want to, maybe you can show the picture of the tour on another day and focus on the questions now.
Yes, I think it's better. I mean, I wanted to share more about like the tour that we did, and we had like great time and pictures and so forth. But if there are questions, maybe that's
yeah. So the questions. So Wender asks, what is the best way to engage on Twitter? For example, should we post something on with hashtags or comment on someone else's content? What's better?
Yes. So I would say both. If you have a choice, though, I think like commenting on other people's content. Well, when I say commenting, it's adding value, right? It's adding an angle to the content that you see. I think that's very powerful. So both are good. Yeah, I like the commenting though.
Okay. So Rodrigo asks, what kind of content should we not share on Twitter?
Not share on Twitter.
You know, well, let me expand a little bit this question. Let me expand a little bit. There's a lot of people that kind of share, you know, they take pictures of what they are eating, or, you know, I mean, should we do a lot of this, just a little bit? How personal should that be? Should be only technical things, or, you know, you can add some personal things, you know, just kind of expanding a little bit on the question.
Right. So I think you have to care about your audience, right? I mean, it's better if you can share, even like if it's personal, but then make it interesting to your audience. So I wouldn't just share. People share food and their travel experience because they are speakers and because they are going to a certain event. So instead of saying, well, you know, come and see my session, they say, oh yes, here I'm having a great time at, this conference, or like next to, or speaking with somebody. So it's never really like the topic. So I would definitely, if you have something personal, but you think that, find an angle that, that would be interesting to your audience.
Cool. That's very cool.
There has to be a reason, right?
Yes, yes. I think, and there's lots of ways to find reasons, right? It's funny. So if you find a good reason for it, I think you could do it. So Jose asks, it is a good idea to have a personal account and post technical things, or to have a specific account for technical things? So
I would say have your personal account and talk about technical things. Like if you're a programmer.
You mean on the same account? You mean on the same account? Yes.
Talk about the technical topic with your own, your private account, like your personality. Don't create, I don't know. I see so many people who, and I could actually put a slide deck with examples, but I don't want to share that because I don't want to embarrass anybody. But I see people who created a username that is not their name, right? And even for me, and those people are very active in the community, but because they did that, I can't find them. Right. I mean, eventually I met them at conferences. I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't remember, sharing your content. I'm like, there is a problem. And so I go back and see like what I am, how my content is structured and why this is not showing up. And often it's because their name is just not, the name of the handle is something else. Like, I don't know. Puppy running for, I mean, people have crazy things, right? Or even like characters. Like, don't do that. Put really your name, your full name. Even I made the mistake of using my last name and not my first name because it wasn't available. But if you can have your entire name and have that as your handle, and talk about technical topic. Because this is your brand. This is part of your brand. And that's very important. So, and you can be talking about different topics, but make sure that people understand. I'm too close to the airport, apparently. Hope you didn't hear that. But, people want to know who you are also while you're talking about technical topics, because they're going to meet what? Not the brand that you created, right? They're not going to... if you create, even like Java is at times it's frustrating because people don't know who is behind it. So they look around, they don't know who to contact. So it's not a person, right? So make sure that you connect your brand to everything that you do online.
Okay.
And that should be across as well. So, and I'm guilty of that as well. But if you have like a Twitter account, a Facebook account, make sure you have the same pictures, like a similar description as well, because then Google, tie all of your online presence together and then knows that you are the same person. You see, now we are dealing with robots that are not even persons, right? And so you need to give you need to make it easy also for Google to find you and to connect everything you do online.
Okay, so Yolande, I think we're a little bit out of time here, but there is one last question. Okay. There's a question here. I think there was for Elder about JSF and JavaEE, so I'm going to ask him to answer that later, because he dropped it. But Ricardo asked, you asked about GitHub, and Ricardo asked any tip about how to start a home project or an open source project. Now, should people start an open source project, or they should join an open source project?
Wow. That's a tough one. Well, it depends. I mean, if you can't connect it to another project, then start a new one. Make sure that you have a description. I mean, I see so many projects that have like 0 description. So they have a bunch of codes, and it's like, go figure what that means, right? And how to integrate and with which tools. And see, I see that also all the time. Make sure, again, if you start with GitHub, make sure that you have a description, a profile, that if you don't want to give out to, or if you don't want to repeat yourself, link to your blog or link to your Twitter account, or so people can find you, right? It's always like, it's great to add another property, I mean, another presence online, but you have to connect all the stats, right?
Right.
So if you have to, yes, I would say if the project is going to be big, then yes, you should definitely, and then it depends if you want that project, if it's very important for you that project is connected to your name, then yes, create a GitHub account and connect it to your name. Again, it's always a question of what you're trying to do. Hi, Ottavio.
Hello, Yolande.
Ottavio joined here. So Ottavio is going to be our speaker on Wednesday. He's going to talk about on Wednesday at noon U.S. Central Time. Ottavio is going to talk about big data and NoSQL and very a lot of cool things. But Ottavio wanted to answer this question about open source. So Ottavio, should we
yes, please
start project or start an open source project? So Ottavio is a big guy, and you can answer the next one. So Ottavio is an OpenJDK committer. So Ottavio, how about if you answer the next question then? How you can start contributing to OpenJDK?
Okay. First, did you say GitHub? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you can do both, right? Because when you start a new open source project, you can maybe write a simple sample, and the sample can be a documentation for the people who'd like to start something. Like, I'd like to write a hello world about JSF with JavaEE. So that is easier. So to another people, that's nice also to share on Twitter. But also it's cool if you help on documentation. So if you have time, you can do both. That's interesting to people becoming. I'd like to learn something. Elder is writing about Docker and JavaEE, so he's writing a lot of open source code to beginners. So both is matter. So
how about OpenJDK? How do you get started by helping OpenJDK?
Okay, I can tell me about my history. Basically, I started with documentation. So basically, I started to write documentation because the seniors guys don't like to write documentation. So that's perfect because you as beginner, you have chance to get in documentation, write, to refactor, and also understand the product and the project. So you can read, oh, that's not clear to me. So let's open a bug about it. So open a bug and then fix the bug in the documentation, understand better, and then go inside the code. And that's perfect to me. Also update the API. So right now we are moving to Java 9 and Java 8. So you can move it, the old API to start to use string, start to use new data API. So that's nice because you help the OpenJDK and also learn the new APIs on the Java and on the OpenJDK.
Cool.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So Ottavio is going to be with us. His talk is going to be Wednesday at noon U.S. time. And he's going to talk about NoSQL and big data. Thanks, Ottavio. Okay. So, yeah, so I just met Ottavio here at a dinner tonight, and then I asked him to come here to be part of it with us.
So there is a quick question about comments. I don't know if you want to take that one, but I would say comments are good because documentation is.
Comments in code. Yes. Yeah. Yes. All right. So comments. There's two things about comments in code, right? Yes. A lot of people want to comment every little step on the code, right? So, if your code is clear enough, you don't need to comment every single step. But comments are very important, especially for other people to know how they can use your code. So that's why I know the whole Java docs, for example, it's all comments, right? So there's difference. The whole thing about code being self-explanatory. Of course, the more the easiest it is for your code to be read, the less comments you need to write. But there's a lot of times that you don't have code that's easy to read for different reasons, and maybe you can have you can comment things to help out. So yes, comment is extremely important.
Okay, so I'll take. Rodrigo is asking about pin tweets. Yes, so at you can pin one tweet on Twitter in your profile. So you should take a tweet that has already like some retweet or the most retweets in your profile. That's really important because people are attracted to popular things. So if you show that you have a tweet that has a lot of retweets, then that's the best tweet to pin, and it's something that you care about as well. So it can be, for example, a link to your blog, for example, content that you wrote. You should pin that. So most important content, and also the most popular content that you can have.
Okay. Yeah. So Mariana is saying about here, but that's if you some certain kind of comments would be good, like to say that a method is thread safe. That's a good thing to comment because it's not obvious. So that's a good point, Mariana. So it's something that's not obvious on your code, but you work on that code to make it thread safe, for example. That's not going to be obvious just by looking at it. So it's a good thing to comment. So non-obvious things are good things to comment. And Scott Evans have a great reference, like a link with a great reference. It's a book for best coding practice. So thanks a lot. And let me tell you this. Rafael, Yolande mentioned Rafael. Rafael is going to do a mini talk on Thursday. On Thursday, Rafael talks about reducing bugs in your project. So you should check out that talk. All right. So I think we're pretty much out of time here, Yolande, and I think you answered all the questions. So I'd like to thank all of you for being here with us. And there's one last thing. So Yolande, she is at Java on Twitter, right? So I really suggest you that you should, click on the side and just follow at Java on Twitter, because at Java, it's you saw that's the Twitter account that I retweet most. And the reason is because at Java has such a great content. It helps us a lot by spreading the most important information about Java. So you should take a look. You should follow. So just click on the button on the side, and you can follow at Java now. So do you want to say goodbye, Yolande?
Yes, and if you have great content, also like ping me, or if you need help with anything, like reach me at my personal handle. So if you need anything, but thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure. I hope it was very helpful. And if you have more questions, just reach out to me. That's not a problem. So, and thank you, Bruno, for organizing the event. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, you're the best person to organize this as well. So really appreciate being invited. Thanks. So thank you.
Thanks a lot, Yolande. Thanks a lot. But thank you all of you guys. Thank you for joining us here. And let me just explain to you how that's going to happen. Every day we're going to have this discussion. So we're going to have, most days it's going to be at 7 p.m. U.S. Central. Some days we're going to have a noon U.S. Central, so like in the middle of the day, so you can have like grab a lunch and participate. So join us for the whole week. We had almost 80 people here all the way to the end, so that's great content. And one last thing, this you created some questions when you register, right? That survey, we have all the questions in the survey, and I'm going to record little videos answering all those questions during the week and send to you. Okay, so thanks everyone. Join at Java on Twitter. Thanks a lot, Yolande. It was great to have you here. So thanks everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
All right.